couple of weeks back, I created 2 Minecraft mobs I wished were in the game, and you guys seem to really enjoy that video, so I thought I should make another one. But this time, instead of collaging a bunch of mobs together, I would actually use Blockbench as some of you guys recommended last time. Bear in mind this would be the first time I'll be using Blockbench, so forgive me if I'm not using it correctly. I am quite a noob at it at the moment. And also, everything in this video is just for fun. Please don't take anything in here too seriously. And without any further ado, let's get started. When it comes to thinking about mobs I would like to add into the game, I'm thinking of what kind of mobs would fit into an environment that doesn't already have, I guess, a lot of mobs. And there are a lot of contenders for this requirement, but the one I wanted to go for the most would be the sky, because we do have a lot of, I guess, mobs on the ground area, even underground, but not really much on the sky. When I say sky, I mean overworld sky. We have clouds and I guess we have birds, but they don't really fly that high. And I guess we don't really have anything going on the sky area. So I thought maybe creating a mob that we can see up in the sky might be a nice idea. I wanted a mob that would blend well with the sky, but at the same time stand out enough for a player to actually recognize them from a distance. So my first idea would be to create a cloud-like creature. And the reason why I thought this is because sometimes when you look up in the sky, you would see clouds forming certain shapes. And I thought, if that could happen in real life, why shouldn't it happen in Minecraft as well? So when you look up into the sky as a player, you would see a certain shape, but it would be a bit more interesting if that shape is actually, I guess, a living mob that you can interact with. So you guys could see in the screen right now one of the variants, and I said variant because there's going to be different variants of this specific creature. The reason why I did that is because we're getting variants for cows and chickens now, so I thought we should do the same thing for these cloud creatures. So you guys would see this polar bear creature, this polar bear cloud creature in cold biomes like the taiga biomes and ice bike biomes. And here in the screen, I'm trying to create the plains biome type variant for the cloud creature. By the way, the name is not going to be cloud creature. I'm going to reveal the name a bit later on, but that's what I'm going to call them for now. And essentially, I thought for the plains biome, I'm thinking it's not just plains, because sometimes we could see meadows and the flower biome as well being in the same category. So I thought, bunnies will make much more sense. To be completely honest with you guys, I just thought a bunny cloud would be a lot cuter than, let's say, a sheep cloud, a cow cloud, or a chicken cloud. So I thought that this kind of variant would have to be a bunny. A bunny cloud sounds so much cuter than any of the other animals, but let me know what you guys would do in this situation. Like, what kind of animal would you base these cloud creature on for the plains biome at least? And now for the warm biomes, and I think these are the savanna, badlands, desert. Would beach count? I'm not too sure, but I'm going to count it. But for those warm climates or warm biomes, I thought a llama cloud creature would make much more sense. And I know that it doesn't actually look like the Minecraft llama, but the reason why I did that is because these clouds aren't actually the animals that they look like. They are just a copy of them, or they're trying to copy them. It's not the actual animals. That's why I didn't want it to look exactly like it. Otherwise, I could have just traced the original designs and just pasted them over a cloud-like body. I didn't want to do that, so I wanted the cloud variants to look a lot more different than their, I guess, animal counterparts. And just to explain a bit more about how these creatures would work in Minecraft, they would essentially be really high up in the sky. Let me see. Apparently clouds spawn at about Y128, so I'm going to say that these cloud creatures would be just below that. So that would be about, I guess, 90, Y90, let's say. They would of course be massive. They can be as big as clouds themselves. That way players could see them a lot easier. You might need to use a spyglass or a zoom feature, but it would definitely be really easy to see them if they do spawn. And of course, depending on the biome you're in, you'll get one of the 3 variants of cloud creatures that could potentially spawn. Also, they can only spawn during the day and you cannot tame them. And no, they will not despawn during the night. Now the fun part about these creatures is that just because they spawn in one biome doesn't mean that they can't go through other biomes. So when the warm variants of the cloud creature were to go onto, I don't know, a cold biome, they will actually be a little ray of sunshine. They will produce their own light that is similar to the sun, which will help your crops grow should they need more sunlight. For the plains variant, whenever it's raining, they produce the petal particle effect, and they can also allow petal particles to pile on the ground. And for the cold variant, whenever it rains, they will produce the snow particle effect, and they will also allow snow to pile up. And these effects will occur even if they are outside of their designated biomes, and it will only occur if it is raining. Now, you can actually feed these creatures and their food, and I would love this because there's actually a use for these now. They will eat tropical fish. All three of them can eat tropical fish. And like many mobs out there, you can use these food items to lure them towards you. So the tropical fish can be fed to all variants. Flowers like tulips and whatever not, they can be fed to only the plains variant. Cold plants like ferns can only be fed to the cold variant, and dead bushes could only be fed to the warm variant. And I said earlier that you guys can't tame this mob, and the reason why I did that, number one, is because we already have so many mobs that we can tame. And it does get a bit boring later in the game, so I was thinking that this kind of creature would be very suitable for people who are already late game, so it makes the things much more interesting. It gives the players a bit of a challenge as well when they are late game, so you would probably need to use an elytra to get even close to these creatures, or at least, I don't know, stack up. In the past couple of times I created mobs, I wanted to make sure that, players aren't really encouraged to kill them because, so these guys you can kill, I guess, but they won't drop anything. They won't drop anything at all. Instead, if you do feed them, they have a chance of dropping a bucket of cloud. And yes, you can get the bucket from the bucket of cloud. And if you were to, let's say, drink this, it will give you the levitating effect. The effect itself would only last for a few seconds, but if you were to put this in a potion, it will give you the levitating effect for, I guess, a far longer period if you do the recipe right. And I just thought that would be a fun addition because we don't currently have a levitating potion. So the name for these guys are actually the nimbus, for like the nimbus cloud and stuff. So just bear that in mind when I'm talking about them. And you guys could see me try and do a tutorial in Blockbench right now. And as I said earlier, I am going to try and use this instead of collaging a bunch of mobs together. And I was just trying to play around, get a feel to see what the tools are, how the UI works and those kind of things. So I was a bit slow. It did take me a couple of hours to kind of learn everything. And yes, I was watching YouTube tutorials to try and get my footing into this. And once I figured out what things are, what things do, I did go in and start creating my first draft of the Nimbus creatures. And since I was so busy trying to get my footing around this software, I did forget to hit record, so unfortunately I didn't record this part of the draft. But don't worry, I'm going to be creating another version of this creature anyway. But I just want to show you guys how I built this, or what he ended up looking like. And this is me rebuilding him right now, and I'm only going to be doing the cold variant just because that's the first variant I drew, and I took far too long creating this one and I didn't really feel like creating the others. You guys are free to if you want to. And speaking of which, I want to give a shout out to Lucas over here who created the Void Strider as a 3D Minecraft model in here, and I think he actually inputted it into the game, which is so cool. Thanks Lucas for doing that. That's actually really amazing. But guys, I haven't touched Blockbench at all. This is the first time, again, I'm ever touching this software. So I'm not going to be as skilled as Lucas, and I'm definitely not going to be able to input that into the game. So this is the best I can do, unfortunately. But if you guys want to recreate these creatures yourself, feel free to and share it with me. That would be amazing, and I would, of course, share it around as well. But essentially what I'm doing is just copying the shape that I drew out, or the shape I had in my mind, trying to keep the Minecraft blocky shape, but I wanted to improve on the previous model that I created because that was far too blocky. Like, it didn't really look like it fit into the world. This doesn't look like it would fit into the world, but I thought it would be a better idea or a better design. But anyways, this is what he ended up looking like. For my next design, I wanted to pay tribute to the copper golem that didn't end up joining us in the game. To be fair though, I didn't really vote for him, I voted for the glare, so sue me. But I wanted to create something similar to the copper golem, except make him a bit different, so I thought a terracotta golem would be much more fun. So I know for a fact that the copper golem was supposed to press copper buttons, and a lot of, I guess the redstone people really wanted him, but the thing is, you know, I'm not a redstone person, so I wouldn't really know. I wouldn't really see the benefit of having a copper golem anyway, but that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Instead, I would like a little guy made out of pots and terracotta to be walking around helping me with my stuff. I'll tell you guys more about it a bit later. But before I talk about the terracotta golem's design, I thought I should explain why he should be in the game. So if you guys could remember my rant from my previous Minecraft video, I said that the cherry blossom biome was a bit boring. There was nothing really going on in there. The trees are nice and stuff. The aesthetic was really pretty, but there was no mobs in there that would encourage me to keep going back. And that goes the same for the Badlands biome as well. Like, the scenery and the terracotta is amazing, and of course it's a bonus that we get the more gold and I guess mineshaft in there, but aside from that, nothing really is going to make me come back there, or there's not much in there that you would really want to see, because there's just regular mobs spawning in there, I guess, like the regular hostile mobs. There's nothing in there. And I guess you could argue that that's the whole reason why it's a Badlands biome. Like, it's supposed to be desolate because it's a type of desert, isn't it? But still, I thought if these little guys naturally spawn in that biome, it would make the whole game a lot better, in my opinion. Just imagine you find a Badlands biome and you go, oh my god, wow, it's a rare biome, it's so colorful, and then you see these tiny little creatures walking around in there, and that's just really cute. That's just a nice scenery to see. So these guys will naturally spawn in the Badlands biome, particularly in the mine shafts. Now, wild terracotta golems will be walking around the mine shaft, and they will have this kind of digging animation onto them while they will dig around, like the sniffer for example, and they can pull out different resources. The resources could be rare, like I guess gold, what are they called, the raw gold, and even diamonds, but they can also dig around for really useless things like sticks and coal. Once they dug around for whatever that resource is, they will find the nearest minecart chest, and they will try to put those items in there. Now, if a player or a hostile mob were to go near a wild terracotta golem, they will go into their defense mode, and I will show you guys what their defense mode looks like later. Wild terracotta golems will be quite shy. They won't be nice to the players, they won't be mean to them or anything. It's just that when players or hostile mobs go near them, they will go in defense mode, kind of like a, what are they called, armadillos. They will just hide. And even though there are wild terracotta golems, you can also create your own terracotta golem, kind of like how there are naturally spawning iron golems, naturally spawning, even though they're rare, snow golems. You can also create your own. And in order to create your own terracotta golem, you would need a large pot, a couple of flower pots, and what I would like to call the enchanted heart shard. I was also going to say that you would need actual terracotta blocks in order to create this creature, but I completely forgot about that, so pretend that I've added it to this recipe. But the most important part of this recipe, as you guys may gather, is the enchanted heart shard. So in the game, in order to create decorated pots, we have the shards, right? And one of them is the heart shard. However, you can find a really rare variant of this heart shard called the enchanted heart shard. You can't enchant shards, of course you can't, but you can find this one in, I don't know, I haven't thought about it yet, but in the Badlands mineshaft, let's say. It is very rare, so you might have to go to a few Badlands mineshaft. It won't generate in natural, well not natural, but in other types of mineshafts. It will only generate inside Badlands mineshaft, so it is quite rare. So it's another late game mob, I would say. And of course it must be the heart-shaped shard. I mean, to be fair, if I were to add this creature into Minecraft, they would only have one enchanted shard anyway, and that would be the enchanted heart shard. So it must be a heart shard regardless. And I said earlier that wild terracotta golems find and dig around for resources and put them away in chests, and that's how homemade terracotta golems would work as well. So aside from digging around in your certain vicinity that you spawn them in, they will also pick up any fallen items that's dropped on the floor, and they will try to sort it in the chest. So as long as you have free chests lying around, as long as there are spaces in the chests, they will be putting and sourcing the items out themselves. So they're really good sources, and I thought that would be really useful because it is quite a pain for me to sort out my items, especially since I want to be, organized. I want to put things away. So having someone help out with that would be really nice. So if I just drop all of my items, the terracotta golem will sort them out for me. Also, if you were to put an item frame onto a chest and put whatever block or material or resource you want in that chest on the item frame, the copper golem will actually recognize that and will put away resources based on what that item frame says onto that chest. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it very well, but it's just a really good organizer. So not only will it dig around for resources, when it's done that, it will also help you source out items that you have dropped. So they will just pick up any dropped items and they will source it out in the chest for you, as long as you label them with item frames. So I thought that would be a really useful mechanic. I have no idea how Mojang will ever implement that, but if they could, that would be amazing. They would literally be such a lifesaver, which means that, I could just go out, do my exploring, or I could go do my builds, and when I'm tired and I can't be asked putting my items away and sourcing them out and organizing them, I'll just drop them onto the floor and my terracotta golem will sort them out for me. And I said earlier that they do have a defense mode, and that's what you could see at the bottom right corner over there. They basically tuck their entire body in and only their head comes out. So while terracottas will be shy of players and mobs in general, kind of like how an armadillo would work, but if you create your own terracotta golem, they won't really react like this. They won't be shy of their own creators, but if there are any hostile mobs nearby, they will defend themselves. And as long as they are in their defense mode, they cannot be killed or harmed by any hostile mobs. The only thing that can actually kill them are the players, and I don't know why you guys would ever do that, because they won't drop anything. They won't even drop the enchanted heart shard, so you'll be wasting it. And this is me creating the terracotta golems in Blockbench, and to be completely honest with you guys, this took me a lot longer than the nimbus creatures did. So this took me, if I could remember, about 3 hours to do. Again, I'm not very good at Blockbench still. I'm hoping that I would be a lot better and of course a lot quicker in the future as I use this more. But to be completely fair, creating this terracotta golem was fairly easy. It's just that there was so many components in the golem itself that was a bit tricky, and it was just a bit time consuming. It didn't really help that sometimes certain shapes would not go on certain positions that I want them to go to. Sometimes they would just be slightly off from the position I want them, but because of the snapping feature in Blockbench, it was really difficult to do that, and I don't have an idea how to remove that snapping feature, even if it can be removed. No idea. And since I was working in an iPad, it does get a bit tricky, because sometimes I would accidentally click something would disappear, or something will undo, something will redo, something will come up and I have no idea what it is. It does get quite frustrating, and that's just the part of learning new things. I did lose my temper quite a few times, but that's just how it is when you're learning new software. I mean, the last time I felt like this when I was trying to learn how to use Procreate, and that was a whole different story. And since I was using YouTube quite a lot for like tutorials and, you know, how to spawn a shape in there, how to shape a shape, how to cut a shape, how to color the shit in, oh my god, the coloring process was so painful. You guys didn't see it because I lost the footage, or, you know, I forgot to make a footage of it. But for the very first nimbus creature I created, I spent so long on that crap. Oh my god, the actual agony I felt creating that thing was a different level. And now my YouTube feed is full of blockbench tutorials. The only thing I couldn't get, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get this in the future as well, I couldn't get the shaping right. If you guys look really closely, you guys could see those tiny cubes or grid in the actual character, right? I get a bit confused on how to increase that or decrease that. So the sizing of these mobs will be off. Let's not lie, it will be off. And later on, when I do paint the heart on the terracotta golem, it does look a bit off, probably because I made the model too small. I'm gonna try and figure out how to shape the models a lot better so that they're actually in size, so that they're actually comparable to Minecraft models, but that's something I will learn in the future. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched this far, and of course, as always, thank you so much for everyone's support. Thank you again to Lucas for creating a Minecraft model for my Void Strider. Truly amazing, very talented. And if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do, as it helps out a lot and I really do appreciate it. And make sure you give this video a like as well. And if you guys have any ideas on what kind of mob you guys would like to add in Minecraft, feel free to put them down in the comments below. And I'll see you all next Mango Monday. Bye!